A few months ago, the world was in peril at the hands of Magneto as he engaged in war with a mutant-hating general. The X-Men rose to the occasion and saved the day without dying in one run. Now Apocalypse, a mutant threat far greater, is here to conquer the world, and the X-men and Brotherhood, led by Magneto himself, must join together to stop him in X-Men Legends 2. Not only is the threat greater, but so is the challenge, thanks to a comment suggesting that if any of my characters die, they will not be coming back in a later mission, instead staying down all game. It helps that all the characters do not auto-res between missions, which they did in the first game. Instead, they must be revived, and since we can't do that, I have to beat X-Men Legends 2 without dying in one run, with each character only having one life to them. If my current team is wiped out, it won't matter if I have more on the roster, as that's also game over. No powers that can resurrect are allowed, and since the game won't let me play on hard, normal will have to suffice. Now let's see if our united mutant might will be enough to stop Apocalypse, or if we'll all perish one by one. Professor X has been kidnapped, as has Magneto's daughter Polaris by Apocalypse's forces. Don't you worry about Charles, as he's rescued before I even get control of any character, and the rest of the level is just about wrecking the place. Magneto isn't the kind to walk away from a fight, and I'm happy to use his awesome magnetic powers to, well, push people. It's not the most creative use of his abilities, but it's effective nonetheless. Taking flight to Genosha, Magneto's mutant island sanctuary, it's not really serving its purpose as a sanctuary, since Apocalypse's forces overrun the island. We're a pretty massive team, and if we all move together, Apocalypse would be beaten in an hour, which just feels mighty unfair to the guy after all the work he's putting in to take over. So let's just stay as a group of 4, smashing through warrior alien bugs, but I do wonder, how can Magneto push bugs around with magnetism? I guess these must be metal bugs or something, which is very convenient. I've learned from the first game that it's better to rely almost completely on our mutant powers as opposed to straightforward combat, unless we run out of mutant power, and that makes light work of the swarms of enemies, no matter how many they send at us. Even better, in the first game, I had the extraordinary strength of Colossus on my team, and now I have both Colossus and the unstoppable Juggernaut. That combo feels cruel and almost unfair against my enemies, but I cannot pass up on that level of cool. Taste the mutant power of my gun! Things have not been too difficult, so when Lady Deathstrike stands in between us and saving a bunch of prisoners, I make the foolish choice to not pay her off and instead must fight her. Turns out she actually hits quite hard and likes to heal, which means I'm already regretting that decision. I jump in between my team, healing them up whenever they're low, which is far too common, and it doesn't help that she specializes in melee, which the majority of my team also specialize in, meaning I cannot avoid getting hit. Until I realize Iceman does have access to a long-range ice beam, allowing me to greatly reduce how much damage I receive and cool things down for us. Lady Deathstrike is the turning point for this run, as now all the enemies are putting up much more of a fight as they deal more damage. Admittedly, it would probably help to choose a team and stick to them, so I can keep from falling below in levels, which dictate our power compared to the enemy. But where is the fun in such a large roster of characters if I don't get to use them all? Without my healing potions, I'd stand no chance, but having Juggernaut bulldoze through my opponents ensures that even if we do take a lot of damage, our foes do too. Funny enough, even more powerful than Juggernaut's mighty fist is the Toad's Tongue Lash. I think half the damage is psychological because that's just disgusting. It's all in the name of rescuing prisoners, so I think this is one of those rare moments where licking people is like the morally right and heroic thing to do. With the prisoners of Genosha safe, we can now face off with the first of Apocalypse's horsemen, Abyss. Good news, Slinky here is not very durable and falls in health much faster than other bosses. Bad news, he also hits much harder than other bosses, so I need to act quick to keep from losing any heroes. I buy myself time by keeping Colossus's increased defense power activated, reducing how much damage I take until Abyss flees. We give chase, taking a minute or two to loot the area of course, and then continue the skirmish on a pair of airships. I am not the smartest here, as when Abyss keeps throwing bombs at us, it takes me a bit to realize I need to stop destroying them and start throwing them back at him so I can break his ship. Once he pops back over though, instead of us taking victory, we're instead sucked inside of him and must scurry around, arming shielded bombs within him. I'm not sure why Abyss thought it was a good idea to keep bombs inside of himself, but that's the kind of stupidity I both respect and will take advantage of. Random tangent. Clicking to watch the Ultimate Spider-Man trailer within the game honestly makes me excited to play Ultimate Spider-Man again. This is one of the best game trailers I have ever seen, and it was made in 2005. It has nothing to do with the challenge, but hey, at least we all got to enjoy the trailer. With Abyss sleeping off his consumption of 4 bombs, we've done what we can on Genosha. But the fight isn't over by a long shot, as Apocalypse himself ambushes Beast in the X-Men mansion, capturing him and destroying the X-Men's home. Which means we're off to the Savage Lands, as that's the clue Beast was able to leave behind for us. Things may not need to be so tough in the Savage Lands if I had the sense to bring a variety of abilities to my team. But no! I foolishly marched into the wild with a full team of energy fighters right into a bunch of beasts that are specifically resistant to energy attacks. But as my great-grandma always used to say, "Little rat, no one but Thor himself can survive repeated lightning strikes right to the dome within the span of a few seconds. Don't you ever forget that." As usual, Great Granny was right, and I'm able to fry these creatures with Storm regardless of their resistances. Only for us to get trapped right after by another servant of Apocalypse, Garrock. Or maybe it's pronounced Garrett? Who can say? Thankfully, Mystique bails us out so we can fight back. Gary doesn't like to stay still or within range, which really makes me thankful I brought so many energy fighters, since none of them need to be close to burn him down. Defeating Garth means we can save Destiny, a mutant who can see into the future. Of course, per usual with all oracles, she predicts only terrible things, like Beast dying and us being betrayed by an ally. It would just be too easy, I guess, if she foresaw happy things, like Apocalypse changing his mind and becoming a museum curator, or something a tad less apocalyptic. With these new additions to our list of things to be anxious about, it's time to stop our enemies from wiping out the Savage Land. The land is swarming with brutes that hit hard close up, and plenty of mercenaries that do pretty decent range damage, so that makes Cyclops the most vital, as he can take most down in a couple flashes of his beam before they overwhelm us. But really, if we didn't keep coming across so many healing potions, I have little doubt that my team would all fall regardless of how quickly we can KO our foes. Every bit we encroach on Apocalypse's plans, the harder things become, and I have to become much more conservative with my healing potions, meaning my team is often low on health. Still, none do fall thanks to my overwhelming power, but every battle is really wrecking my nerves. Especially when I come across enemies with enhanced damage auras, as they can delete me in heartbeats if I'm not on top of healing and counterattacking. My other big problem is these dark rotting ruins all look the same, and I keep finding myself lost. The only way I ever know I'm in the right place is when a bunch of enemies pop out to try and murder me, which cannot be good conditioning for my brain to get used to. It makes me really thankful to teleport out of these ruins right into the enemy's warship, which is quite a change of scenery, but also much easier to navigate. Especially since we immediately run right into Colossus's brother, the leader of Apocalypse's forces here. He doesn't hit too hard, but he does duplicate himself a lot, which really slows us down. But I guess he has more tricks up his sleeve, as defeating his duplicates causes him to shield himself and try to trip us up with a spinning beam, while we also have to defeat his minions on the exact right spots, or we won't be able to deactivate his shield. They really don't like stepping into position for us, especially when my allies keep knocking them out too soon, and we take a good deal of damage from the beams in the meantime. When I can finally line them up, the fight still isn't over, as Mickey is now hitting hard and refusing to go down while constantly moving at super speeds on us. He has a lot going for him, and things look pretty bleak for us. But as his brother Colossus, I only need one move. Punch. It's very effective and does wonders, finally bringing him down for good. But it's too late for Beast, as he's been stuck in a room full of poison gas for 5 whole minutes. Nah, not really. It's the Beast! Hank is a master of holding his breath and is totally fine, so it's no worries. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean we're much better off, as Apocalypse unleashes his army on New York. Excellent. Looks like things are going as great as ever in New York. On the bright side, I do have a wide range of ridiculous-looking outfits to choose from now, so the good news, bad news scales are pretty balanced, I'd say. I would be so embarrassed if I got beaten by a Cyclops looking like this, and if his beams didn't kill me, I'd finish the job myself. I do get pretty worried doing Gambit's lone simulation mission, as he almost goes down multiple times, but I just barely pull through. That should have been enough proof for anyone that it is a bad idea to take unnecessary risks in these simulations. But not for me, it seems, as I head into a simulation against Sauron, the Dino Man. I'm left with only a single health potion, as fighting the Dinosaur Man forces me to consume the rest as I struggle against him. When in doubt, Juggernaut is a safe bet, but throw in Jean Grey for her ability to toss people around, which means they can't hit me, Cyclops to eliminate them from afar, and Wolverine for his healing factor makes that bet even safer. Finishing up here isn't easy, but it is doable until I come across Sugar Man, one of the most disturbing foes I've ever had the misfortune to look upon.
Your worst nightmare, Pally.
You really are. You're so disturbing to look at.
You know?
Do not give me any sugar, please. Even worse, the moment the fight begins, Sugar Man kills Toad. Toad was one of my strongest fighters, so his loss will be missed. But first I gotta make sure I survive so I can miss him. Sugar Man is insanely powerful, and a couple swings from him equals death for us, so we gotta keep our distance. He only has melee attacks and... Oh, he's got a tongue attack! No wonder he killed Toad! Toad finally met his match! He should have stopped licking so many people! Problem is, the only move that really hurts him is Nightcrawler's swords, which means I must risk getting in close. Nightcrawler comes so close to falling as well, but luck is with me, and the rest of us survive Sugar Man in his disgusting attempts to give us sugar. We'd like burn him? Is that an option?
Affirmative.
Just, hang on. Put more lead into him if you can. Oh good, he's disappearing into nothingness. I think that's actually scarier than the alternative. Now I don't know where he is. We lost Toad. Well, gotta make sure he's dead. For his own sake. That wipes out one power plant that can be of use to Apocalypse, so now it's time to shut down his infinite army production. I bring in the 4 elements to handle this one. Wind, fire, ice, and gun. And for the most part, that works really well for us. Until we're attacked by 2 empowered robots that tear through our health and are able to withstand quite a beating. We do overcome them, but now we're out of healing potions, while Storm and Sunfire are both on the brink of death. The wise thing would be to switch them out till it's safe to advance, but I press on with the hope that I can find healing potions before it's too late. When you're hoping against the worst, too late becomes too common, and down goes Storm when she's caught in the blast of another bot. Not slowing down, we try to avenge her, and Sunfire is snuffed out in the next room. All I can do is take the time to ensure they also don't come back as zombies before we press on. Honestly, between Iceman and Bishop, we do pretty well beating back the Infinite Army, and things do look somewhat hopeful. That is until a giant with enhanced damage runs in and kills Iceman before I can do anything. Based on the first game, honestly, I really wasn't expecting Iceman to survive this run, but still it sucks. The consequence of being so big means the giant can't fit through the doorway, and I take out Iceman's killers from afar. Fire, ice, and wind are all down, with only gun remaining, leaving me very much on edge. Nope, 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 nope. Go away, go away. Frick, frick. Why do I get myself into these things? Getting jumped by more enhanced damage attackers leaves Bishop on the brink of death, and I'm just lucky they don't chase me once I jump down. I reach an extraction point and call in reinforcements, and then to my horror, I watch as Rogue is slain right away when I return to the fight. I went so long without losing anyone, and now I lost 4 members in 5 minutes. Rogue was one of my absolute favorites, and I basically threw her away because I got overconfident in her abilities and sent her in alone. I could just ignore those that killed her since they're out of the way now, but no, I do not care about the risk. I must avenge her. That, and so I can stab her enough to ensure she doesn't become a zombie. After all that, you should not be surprised that I'm minimizing danger by smashing through the Infinite Army with everything I have. Which really means I unleash Colossus and Cyclops upon them, and that does wonders for me. If nothing else, it does make me laugh when Cyclops explodes an assassin robot with his eye beams and lets loose a
"Nice try, punk!"
He's a silly little guy, and I love him in his way. Infinite enemies, infinite beam shots, infinite punching. It's all I ever really know in here. Until I come across Mr. Sinister and his evil clones of the X-Men.
But how would you fare against earlier incarnations of the X-Men?
So weaker versions of the guys who are already dead. Genius. Yeah, no. Like really, Sinister, how did you possibly think this would work? It's incredibly easy to beat the lesser versions of us, and it takes no time at all. Alright, Wolverine, kill Wolverine. Okay, alright. They're overdoing it a little on the explosions. Now to deal with Apocalypse's psychic soldiers. All enemies are major threats capable of tearing through our health quite easily. But now I have the ultimate weapon. Juggernaut, who has already been so essential, has an ultimate move that makes it so for a short period of time, he can one-shot any enemy. And boy, do I spam this move every single chance I get. There's just so many foes, but it is so satisfying to unleash the full power of the Juggernaut upon them, becoming truly unstoppable. Still, without my healing potions, even that power wouldn't have been enough to keep us on our feet. With his psychics brought low, his infinite army crushed, and, well, I'm not really sure why I brought down that power plant, but I did do it. This all heavily damages Apocalypse's ability to wage war, but he is not done yet. We must team up with S.H.I.E.L.D. in order to take down his flying fortress, but of course, the Sentinel mutant killers sent in to help with the promise not to kill any mutants immediately turn on us and try to kill us. Because what else could we expect? See you guys in action. Jesus Christ, you're way more powerful than us. Are we even superheroes? I'm hanging out with the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. They're way more powerful. The Sentinels may never end, but they just seem like free target practice for S.H.I.E.L.D. If only our own personal S.H.I.E.L.D. agent we were escorting was as lucky.
This is the last one, team.
Cease all mutant activity.
Oh my god, he just blew up. Oh my god. I guess he is lucky, because Nick Fury says they fished him out of the ocean a few minutes later, and he's fine. But I feel like Fury's just saying that so we don't feel too bad about getting that guy atomized.
I must take action and destroy each and every one of your misbegotten kind.
First off, racist.
Ah, do not speak, mutant. The mere sound of your voice causes me pain.
Okay. Extremely racist. Fighting this super racist isn't too hard on his own, but I nearly lose my entire team when we destroy his Sentinel reinforcements, and their destruction actually does huge damage to us. I did not see that one coming, but we all down healing potions right away to counteract it. They keep trying to blow us up, but at least I'm ready for it each subsequent time, and we can pull through beating both them and the racist. Go down, Bastion. I'm not losing to the crazy racist. It's a principle I live by. The sewers in the streets of New York, I really do not have much to say about. We came, we saw, we punched a lot of people. Too many people, some could say. I would definitely say that for sure. But that's a normal visit to New York, so what else is new? Juggernaut, always for the win, is really all that needs to be said. Oh yeah, and Deadpool did try and kill us. It's such a disappointment how easily Wolverine can slice him to pieces. I really wanted more of a fight from the Merc with the mouth, but I suppose I shouldn't be complaining about not struggling.
Combo! 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 Combo!
You should
Combo guy sounds like he's tired of saying combo so much.
You moronic oaf! You obviously don't know your place! I demand you free me at once!
Hey, keep talking like that and I'll fall in love with you. Taking the fight to Apocalypse's tower, it's here we're betrayed by a brainwashed beast, and Sabretooth is captured.
The beast you knew was erased back at the Savage Lands. I am now Dark Beast, servant of Apocalypse.
You guys aren't very creative with your new names, are you?
Ignore these fools, Beast.
He's not Beast, he's Dark Beast. Didn't you hear him? Come on, respect the new name. Dark Beast gets away, but I still must contend with Archangel, another brainwashed X-Man who can't think of a creative new name.
I'm free to enjoy my powers, to revel in them, and not feel guilty for being a mutant god who walks amongst weakling humans.
Your power is to fly like a bird. That's it, man. It's not that special. Archangel is a big chicken and keeps fleeing from me, which really draws the fight out. But between Nightcrawler's swords and his teleporting powers to close the distance, it's really not too much trouble to ground this bird.
Yes!
Angel, are you okay, buddy? I think we hit him a little too hard, guys.
None will stand in my way, and I will see to it. The X-men and the Brotherhood are utterly annihilated.
Wait, I don't get it. We're in the home stretch now, though nowhere near home, as we find ourselves in Egypt, ready to bring an end to Apocalypse's plans for good. It only takes a moment to track down Dark Beast and Mr. Sinister, but everything goes terribly wrong here. Beast was one of the weakest characters in the first game, so it is no surprise that he's incredibly easy to beat here. What I do not expect, though, is that Sinister can revive Beast, which isn't a big deal in itself, except when he does it the very first time, I lose control of my characters and Sinister keeps attacking them, leading to Juggernaut of all people falling before I can regain control. That is the most unfair and frankly sinister thing that could possibly have happened, and there is nothing I can do about it, except unleash all I have on Mr. Sinister. He doesn't put up much of a fight since I actually do have control of my characters, and yes, I am very bitter about this. But, oh well, Beast has been saved at least. But where bad luck struck with Juggernaut, my own stupidity strikes with Bishop when I accidentally lose him in a simulation room, not even on a real mission. Why did I think it was a good idea to face off with Sugar Man again? It didn't go well the first time. Losing an ally in the danger room doesn't actually count game-wise in terms of them staying knocked out. But challenge-wise, yes it does. So I must consider Bishop as good as dead. But at least I still have Colossus, one of the most powerful members of my team who has been vital to nearly every mission.
Yes.
There we go.
Niet! I can't fail Professor Xavier.
Are you kidding me? Did everyone just see that? He just... Why? Why, Colossus? There was no need to do that. He threw himself to his death. Between this and Scooby-Doo, every time I come to Egypt, I have a miserable time. Overall, the rest of the fighting goes pretty well, with Wolverine, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Jean Grey really holding their own since they somehow all resist the urge to kill themselves like Colossus did. I actually spend far more time lost on where to go than in danger, so that says it all. The living monolith tries to put up a good fight, but when his whole strength is easily negated by standing on 4 nearby platforms, he doesn't really stand a chance. If getting smaller wasn't enough of a hint that he's weaker this way, do not worry. He will shout every single time.
No! Now I am vulnerable!
So his enemies really know it's a good time to stab him. Great thinking, dude. Before we face Apocalypse himself, I take a detour to rescue Iron Man of all people, as I've been slowly collecting his armor throughout the game so that I can gain him as a character. What I do not expect is that the game decides that if I get a new character, I must lose one as well. 2 seconds into the area, Wolverine simply vanishes and dies, and I don't even notice for a minute. That's how sudden it is. My god, he pulled the exact same thing last game where he vanished through the floor in the end level, and here he is doing it again. This game, and Wolverine specifically, clearly hates me. I have 16 total characters now that I've saved Iron Man, and 9 of them have fallen. I better make this count against Apocalypse, or it is all over for me. Apocalypse has captured 4 mutants and is combining their powers into himself to become unstoppable. But Juggernaut was unstoppable, and he got stopped, so we'll be doing the stopping of this unstoppable one this time. I think that made sense. Sure.
That's good, because I think you're going to find this fight an exception. Exceptionally painful.
No, wait, I still don't get it. Even though Apocalypse keeps copying our moves, I'm more than happy to say he is an easy win.
Combo!
Oh, we won. Well, we won phase 1. But now he's bigger. That's great. 'Cause that's just what I hoped for. I was like, hey, you know what would make this fight even better if the guy was massive? Okay, so it turns out he's not one to go down easily, and there's a lot to this fight. After beating him a second time, I realized this is doing nothing, as I had failed to notice the large red arrow telling me to go use his device so I can be way more powerful.
I forbid you to use that machine.
What are you, my dad? Are you? You're blue, I'm blue, it's possible. I was winning without the device, so it's easy to see that getting a massive power-up only cements my victory. That is, until I destroyed the device, depriving both of us of the powers and making him summon his horsemen that I beat throughout the game to now help him here. As long as none of them are Sugar Man, I'm really not too worried. Okay, honestly, I am rather worried, but that's why I spam my ultimate moves to even things out. I am steadily running out of energy and healing potions, but he is steadily losing men. All his men fall, but I'm basically out of potions myself, and he has plenty of health left. But that is why I brought Scarlet Witch, using her powers to speed up how quickly we can regain our energy, allowing me to stab aggressively away at Apocalypse and best him right as my team started to run out of health. Huzzah! After 16 hours, 26 minutes with 9 out of my 16 members down, but not a single total loss, we've beaten X-Men Legends 2 without dying. Wow, that is rare to not have to reset ever, and it felt like Colossus and Wolverine were really trying their hardest to make me reset with their dumb deaths. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed. I'm off to laugh evilly over some joke I don't quite get, and I wish you so much evil, or even good laughter in your future. Have an amazing day, friends. All these villains do is laugh the entire game. What is this joke I don't get? It is like high school all over again.